Mandy, answer me. The words cut through the Thanksgiving chatter like a gunshot. Why is there an elderly couple living in the $1 million lakeside house I bought for you? The room went silent. Clink. The knife slipped from my father's hand. Forks froze midair. Even the fireplace seemed to hush itself. I stopped chewing, pumpkin pie halfway to my mouth. Slowly, I looked up. Grandmother Dorothy Hanson didn't even glance at me. She stared past me, at Ashley, at Mom and Dad. Her gaze was sharp enough to slice steel. She had just returned from years overseas, but she was no longer the sweet, quiet grandmother I remembered. She carried the weight of someone who commanded obedience without a word. Grandma, my voice shook. What did you just say? The lakeside vacation home, she said, calm as ice. The one I bought 3 years ago for your future. I froze. No, that's impossible. I don't even, my words hitched. I don't own any house. I've been homeless for months. Her eyebrow twitched. I went there to check on it. You weren't there. Instead, an elderly couple answered the door. They claimed they were Kevin's parents, Ashley's in-laws, and they were living in your house. Ashley's hand trembled around her wine glass. Her eyes darted wildly. Grandma, she cried. This has to be some mistake. Maybe you got the address wrong. No mistake, my grandmother said. She reached into her handbag and slid a photograph across the table. It was the mansion, my mansion, and there they were, Ashley, Kevin, Kevin's parents, smiling, posing in front of the house I had bought, working 3 jobs, scraping by, and they were living in luxury. Mine a vacation home. The room tilted. I couldn't breathe. $1 million, my grandmother whispered. And you, she added, locking eyes with my parents, thought she was too unstable to manage it herself, so you handed it to Ashley. I shot to my feet. What? I've been working my life to survive. You stole my house while pretending I wasn't capable. My father slammed his fist. We did it for your own good. I laughed, a sharp, bitter laugh. For my own good, while I slept on couches, while I paid student loans you stole. Grandmother stepped closer, hand on my shoulder, calm, deadly. All of you are rotten, she said. Tonight this ends. She pulled out her phone. Watson, bring the documents. The front door swung open. Mr. Watson, her attorney, entered, thick briefcase, steely expression. Every fraudulent act, my grandmother said, will be exposed, 1 page at a time. And just like that, the predator became the prey. I wiped my tears slowly, deliberately. That's enough acting, Grandma. Yes, she said, stepping beside me. I've been entertained long enough. My mother's voice trembled. Mandy, why are you smiling? Because you're all about to pay for every lie, every stolen cent, every day I suffered while you lived in luxury. A stack of documents hit the table, real estate records, bank statements, emails. 3 years ago, Lakeside Manor was purchased in Mandy's name, Mr. Watson said. Ownership transferred to Ashley Thompson for $1. I remember staring at the date. The exact month I started drowning in bills, juggling jobs, scraping to survive. And then, I said, voice low, you made sure I could never succeed. Anonymous emails to HR claiming I was mentally unstable. Student loan payments redirected into your private account. My credit destroyed. My life sabotaged. You, my mother gasped. And Ashley, I turned to her. $5,000 a month from my house to your in-laws. For rent you never had the right to collect. You monetized my life while I starved. Ashley's face went pale. Forgery, Mr. Watson cut in. The contract was printed 6 months ago, not 3 years ago. You backdated it to cover up your illegal occupation. The room went deadly quiet. I leaned forward. You panicked when Grandma returned. You forged my signature. You stole my house, my money, my life, all for nothing. Because now everything collapses. Police sirens were distant at first, then loud, then terrifyingly close. Ashley screamed. My parents pleaded. But the house was mine. My grandmother's eyes shone with satisfaction, calm as a storm. Watson, she said, Hand over the will. A new document appeared, every inheritance revoked. Mandy Hansen, sole heir to everything. I lifted my glass. No mercy, only justice. A second document followed, $2 million in restitution. If not paid, criminal prosecution would proceed. My parents paled. We don't have that kind of money. Then sell everything, I said coldly. House, cars, jewelry, and the house Kevin's parents are living in, vacate immediately. The law moved swiftly. Officers entered, handcuffs clicked, orders barked. Ashley collapsed, dragged away. After the storm, only silence remained. I let out a breath I didn't realize I was holding. Relief, yes, but also the electricity of victory. Grandmother's hand on my shoulder. It's over, I said. No, she whispered. It's just beginning. Your life truly begins now. 1 year later, I stand on the deck of Lakeside Manor. The sun glints off the lake, sparkling like diamonds. Ashley is in prison. My parents, bankrupt, forgotten. And I built a business, financial consulting, victim advocacy, helping others who were trapped like I was. The house is mine, my home, my empire. Grandmother and I sit by the fireplace on weekends, talking, laughing, reclaiming the years stolen from us. You didn't just reclaim your future, she told me once. You built a better one. I smile, look out over the lake. This is my home. This is my life. This is my revenge, complete and unbroken. The thrill of the victory still hums in my veins. Every detail meticulously uncovered, every betrayal exposed. I walk through the halls of Lakeside Manor, the same halls I was denied for 3 years. The air smells like justice. Every room tells a story of patience, of endurance, of plotting the perfect comeback. I remember the fear, the hunger, the sleepless nights. And now I walk unchallenged, free, independent, untouchable. This house is my fortress, my symbol, my triumph. Those who tried to destroy me, gone, humiliated, accountable. And me. I sip my wine, smile at the lake, and know the sweetest revenge is always legal, total, and absolute. The police hadn't even finished escorting Ashley out, and my father finally broke. Not emotionally. Strategically. Mandy, he said, forcing calm into his voice, let's not be dramatic. Families fight. Things get misunderstood. We can fix this quietly. Quietly. That word made something inside me snap. You fixed things quietly for 3 years, I replied. Behind my back, in my name, with my life. My mother rushed forward, grabbing my wrist. Her hands were cold and trembling. Sweetheart, please, think logically. If this becomes public, it'll destroy all of us. I pulled my hand free. You already destroyed me, I said. Public is the only place this belongs. Mr. Watson cleared his throat and opened another folder. There is more, he said. My father's head snapped up. More. Yes, the attorney replied calmly. Much more. He projected a screen from his tablet onto the wall. Email chains, contracts, audio transcripts. The investigation uncovered repeated instances of identity misuse, Mr. Watson continued. Credit applications submitted under Mandy Hansen's name. Loans denied because her credit had already been sabotaged. Employment background checks manipulated. I felt my knees weaken. So every time I thought I wasn't good enough, I whispered. Every rejection. You were never failing, my grandmother said quietly. You were being buried. Ashley screamed from the hallway. You promised me it was safe. You said she'd never find out. My father shouted back, shut up. Too late. The damage was irreversible now. Mr. Watson scrolled again. Additionally, he said, the rental income collected from Kevin Thompson's parents was not declared. This constitutes tax evasion. My mother's face drained of color. You reported Mandy as financially irresponsible, I said slowly, while stealing her income, ruining her credit, and then calling her lazy. My father exploded. We raised you, we fed you, you owe us. I owe you nothing, I cut in. Parents don't get paid for not committing crimes. Silence slammed down. My grandmother stepped forward. George, she said, voice razor sharp, do you know why I trusted you with Mandy? He swallowed. Because I thought blood meant protection, she continued. I was wrong. She turned to Mr. Watson. Proceed. Another document slid onto the table. This, Mr. Watson said, is a civil suit Mandy Hansen will be filing at dawn. Emotional distress, financial abuse, identity theft, career sabotage. My mother collapsed into a chair. You can't do this, she whispered. She's still our daughter. I smiled, slow and cold. No, I said. I was your asset, and now I'm your reckoning. The officers returned. George Hansen, Sandra Hansen, you are being detained pending investigation. My father lunged toward me. Mandy, stop this, please. I met his eyes. For 3 years, I said, I begged the universe for help. Tonight it finally answered. The cuffs clicked shut. As they were led away, my mother turned back one last time, tears streaking her face. You'll regret this. I tilted my head. I already survived worse. The door closed. Silence returned. Heavy, clean, final. I exhaled. But this wasn't the end. This was only the moment the world finally tilted back in my favor. The morning sun cut through the blinds, sharp and cold. I stood in Lakeside Manor's kitchen, coffee in hand, watching the lake shimmer. The house was mine, finally, completely mine, but the victory tasted bitter too. The storm wasn't over. It was only becoming public. By noon, my phone buzzed relentlessly. News alerts, social media posts, headlines, $1 million family feud ends in arrests, and heir reclaims stolen fortune in spectacular comeback. I scrolled, stunned. Every detail I had meticulously documented was out there now. Every lie, every forgery, every crime by my parents and Ashley. The public's shock and outrage spread like wildfire. I didn't stop to read comments. Not yet. Mr. Watson appeared in the doorway. Everything is in motion. Asset freezes, eviction notices served, criminal charges officially filed. Ashley Thompson's name flashed across the news ticker. She had gone from smiling in my mansion to being photographed in handcuffs. Her in-laws were now officially investigated for complicity. The humiliation was absolute. I took a deep breath, calm, collected. This is only the beginning, I said quietly. Grandmother appeared behind me, leaning lightly on her cane. Remember, Mandy, revenge is strongest when it's precise, complete, and legal. I nodded. My eyes drifted to the lake, the reflection shimmering like a mirror to my past struggle. For 3 years, I had been invisible, erased, sabotaged. Now everyone could see me. Not just as the victim, they could see the power I had gained. Later, a call came from a financial news outlet. Mandy Hansen, the reporter asked, would you like to comment on the recent arrests? I smiled, my voice calm, unwavering. Justice has been served, and it is long overdue. The world buzzed with the story of my rise, from destitution to triumph, from invisibility to control. Requests for interviews, opportunities for consulting, and speaking engagements poured in. Each call, each email, was a reminder of the life I had reclaimed. By evening, the house was filled with boxes, Ashley's belongings, my parents' possessions, everything either confiscated, returned to rightful owners, or held for restitution. I walked through the halls alone. Each room whispered my victory. Every step echoed the message loud and clear. No one crosses Mandy Hansen and walks away unscathed. Grandmother joined me by the fireplace. You didn't just reclaim your property, she said. You reclaimed your dignity, your voice, your life. I poured a glass of wine, turning slowly to the empty chairs that once held betrayal. I was patient. I endured, and now it's not just survival. It's dominance. Weeks passed, and the world had already learned my name. Mandy Hansen. A whisper, A headline, a cautionary tale. The girl they tried to bury had risen like a storm. I walked into the boardroom of my new company, Lakeside Consulting Group, my heels clicking against polished oak floors. My office overlooked the lake. My empire. My victory. Every contract, every client, every dollar was mine to command. The phone buzzed constantly. Calls from former colleagues, strangers seeking advice, people who had been victims of manipulation, fraud, and betrayal. They wanted guidance. They wanted power. They wanted me. I leaned back in my chair, letting it all wash over me. 3 years of struggle, all of it channeled into a single, unrelenting momentum. My fingers tapped the desk. Emails, contracts, business proposals. The digital kingdom I had built was expanding faster than I could imagine. A notification popped up. Ashley Thompson, prison records updated. 3 years, no parole. Her husband divorced her, ruined financially. Her parents disowned her. The mansion she thought she owned had been legally returned to me. Every asset frozen. Every illegal transaction exposed. I smiled, sweet, cold, victorious. Grandmother appeared beside my desk, leaning on her cane, her sharp eyes scanning the view. "You've done well, Mandy. But remember, the world still underestimates you. That is your greatest advantage." I stood, walking over to the window. The sun reflected off the lake like molten gold. "They underestimated me for years," I said. "They tried to steal everything I worked for, my name, my credit, my house, my life, and now they have nothing, nothing." Outside, my staff moved with precision. Teams managing client portfolios, victim support services, and media relations. Every person under my direction executed flawlessly. This was more than success. This was control. By evening, social media buzzed again. Hashtags, Mandy Hansen *, from homeless to boss *, revenge served cold. Interviews, podcasts, financial exposés, they all wanted the story. I agreed to a single statement. Justice is not revenge. Revenge is measured, calculated, legal, and completely satisfying. The world listened, and they admired, and they feared. Back at Lakeside Manor, I walked through the halls once filled with silence and betrayal. Now they echoed with ambition and power. My grandmother followed, a quiet smile on her face. "This is only the beginning," she said. I nodded, stepping onto the deck overlooking the lake. The wind ruffled my hair. The night was calm. The stars reflected on the water. They had tried to destroy me. They had failed spectacularly. And now I was untouchable. The mansion, the lake, the company, the public eye, all mine. The morning news blasted across every platform. Mandy Hansen, from homeless to million-dollar empire, family feud ends in arrests. Screens in coffee shops, taxis, offices, and gyms displayed my name and my face. My smile was sharp, controlled, unstoppable. Headlines splashed everywhere. The girl who took back everything *. Family betrayal exposed in shocking legal battle *. Mandy Hansen, justice served cold *. I sipped my coffee in Lakeside Manor's kitchen, sunlight hitting the lake outside like liquid fire. Every dollar, every asset, every contract was mine. Every betrayal had been paid back in full, legally and publicly. The phone buzzed nonstop. TV stations wanted interviews. Podcasts, financial columns, motivational talks, they all wanted me. I agreed only once. "Revenge," I said calmly, "isn't emotional, it's calculated, it's unstoppable, and it's absolutely satisfying when justice is served." By noon, social media erupted. Videos of Ashley being let out of court, of my parents signing restitution papers, went viral. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, they couldn't stop showing it. Memes of Ashley crying, of my parents' faces contorted in shame, flooded every platform. I watched coldly, enjoying the spectacle. 3 years, I whispered to myself. 3 years of lies, theft, and sabotage. And now. I stepped onto the deck, the wind brushing past me, the lake glittering like diamonds. Lakeside Manor, the house they thought they could steal, was mine. Every corner, every room, a monument to my triumph. My grandmother joined me, cane tapping lightly on the deck. "The world hasn't seen the full extent yet," she said. "You have power now, control, influence. They underestimated you for far too long." I nodded. They'll remember me forever. At that moment, my phone buzzed again. It was a viral media alert. Mandy Hansen files public civil suit, $5 million claim against parents and sister. I smiled faintly. This wasn't just revenge. It was permanent **. Every illegal dollar, every stolen opportunity, every insult would be accounted for. Across the world, my story spread like wildfire. People shared it not just for the shock, but for inspiration. The girl who was buried, erased, and sabotaged had come back stronger, smarter, and untouchable **. Even Ashley's prison sentence made headlines. Her name was a warning now. Divorce finalized. Bankruptcy declared. Social humiliation total. Every time someone searched for her, they saw me, my face, my empire, my victory. My parents' company collapsed. Their social circles abandoned them. Friends stopped answering calls. Their lives shrank to the size of a single apartment, whispered about behind closed doors. Meanwhile, I hosted meetings in my office overlooking the lake, closed multi-million-dollar deals, and built a network helping people who had been trapped, silenced, or robbed. I turned my pain into power, my humiliation into influence, my stolen years into fuel for empire building. Grandmother stood behind me, her eyes shining. "Mandy, you've done more than reclaim your life. You've built a legend." I raised my glass toward the horizon. To justice, to power, to being untouchable. The sun set over the lake, painting the water gold. Behind me, the halls of Lakeside Manor whispered victory. Every step I took echoed authority, every breath control. And somewhere far away, my parents and Ashley knew the truth. They had underestimated me. They had betrayed me. And now, the girl they tried to bury had become **a storm. They could never escape **. The world would remember my name. Mandy Hansen. Unstoppable, untouchable, unforgettable. 1 year later, Lakeside Manor gleamed under the morning sun. I walked through the halls, each room a monument to what I had survived and conquered. Portraits of the lake, my grandmother, and moments of triumph adorned the walls. Every corner whispered power, control, and the story of a girl who refused to be buried. The phones still buzzed constantly. Clients, media outlets, and aspiring entrepreneurs seeking guidance. I no longer worried about money, survival, or being invisible. My empire, financial consulting, victim advocacy, and media ventures was thriving beyond imagination. The world now knew the full story. News outlets ran specials. Mandy Hansen, how she reclaimed her life and became a $1 million force, **. Social media had immortalized my triumph. The hashtag still trended. Mandy Hansen **, revenge served cold **, from homeless to boss **. Ashley Thompson's name was now a cautionary tale. Prison, bankruptcy, divorce, public humiliation. Every attempt to rebuild her life failed under the shadow of her crimes. Her in-laws had moved away, embarrassed and wary, knowing they'd unknowingly participated in her scheme. My parents were gone from social circles, bankrupt, whispers in the town where their pride had once ruled. Every bank account frozen, every asset liquidated. Justice didn't just touch them, it left a permanent mark. I stood on the deck, glass of wine in hand, looking over the lake. The wind brushed my hair, the water sparkled like diamonds, and I finally felt complete. Grandmother joined me, leaning lightly on her cane. "You've done more than reclaim your life, Mandy. You've built a legacy." I smiled. It's more than revenge now, it's power, influence, freedom. Her eyes softened. "And you've done it with integrity. You didn't just take back what was yours, you helped those who couldn't help themselves. That is the true victory." I watched the sunset, painting the lake gold. The house that was stolen from me, the years they tried to erase, the sleepless nights, they all became stepping stones. Every betrayal was accounted for, every injustice exposed, every enemy neutralized. I had transformed pain into purpose, humiliation into empire, survival into legend. And from the ashes, I built something permanent, something untouchable, something unforgettable. I turned to my grandmother, feeling the weight of years lifted from my shoulders. "This is more than a house," I said. "More than money, this is my life, my empire, my legacy." She nodded, a proud smile on her face. "Yes, and the world will remember it." I took a final sip of my wine and looked out over the shimmering lake. No fear, no doubt, no chains. Only victory. Only power. Only me. Mandy Hanson. Unstoppable, untouchable, unforgettable.